Hi, Taurus. This is your reading for the time period of February 1st to February 29, 2020. For those of you who are new to my channel or you're just visiting, welcome to Amani's Light Work. Before I go into your reading, I want to say that there are two new cases that is recently covered that is in the Keys to Akasha section of my channel. I have Sarah Giargiu. She was an aerialist for the Cirque du Soleil performance in Las Vegas. Her case is covered. The second one is Kobe Bryant's case. Okay, so please feel free to view those cases for information that has not been given in the news. Okay, if you do have inquiries about that section of my channel, please feel free to email me at hassaniife777 at gmail.com, ife divination 777 at gmail.com, or send me direct messages to either my Facebook or my IG at amaniife777. Okay, so I hope that all is well. I hope that this year has been treating you okay. Let's see what you're going to be finding out in February. Let's see. All right, Taurus. Something's interesting that's going on here with a boss. I don't know. It's telling me something about communications. So your boss could be. I keep feeling this feeling of stole. Your boss could have stolen something. That could be a situation. But if you are a coworker of some kind, if you are in a situation here where if you do work in an organization like a nonprofit or like a not-for-profit business, some type of organization, your boss or an assistant to your boss, you could be an assistant to your boss, they're in communications with, if you're one nonprofit, your boss is in, or they hooked up someone else, your boss is in communication with an external source, like an external nonprofit, an external organization, but that's where the stealing happened. So, or that's where something was stolen. So it's between something was stolen in between nonprofit or not for profit, some type of organization structure. Something was stolen within the connection between these organizations, yours included. If you do work for a nonprofit or not for profit, whatever kind of organization, if you do, something is being stolen between organizations here. So it could be, I'm not sure how it works with certain nonprofits or not for profit businesses and organizations in terms of doing like what do you call it? In terms of joint funding for organizations. That could be, every time I go on these examples, the spirit keeps telling me something's stolen or someone's stealing. So that could, if you work for one organization, that could just be something. You don't necessarily have to have like your boss or your business deal that you're in, your organization that you work for. It doesn't necessarily have to be yours. That it doesn't necessarily have to be your organization that you're finding out your boss is doing some type of stealing there, or if this could be information that your boss is telling you that a partner. That's what I wanted to get to. This is information that your boss could be telling you that a partner organization that they're tied to, or that they support or that they fund, vice versa, is stealing, or some type of money there is stolen and something. But it has to do with funding of some kind. It has to do with if this is your nonprofit or your business, it has to do with money that is coming into your business, money that is coming into your business, or money that is coming into your organization, your nonprofit, your business, money that's coming into it. Someone is trying to tell you that that money is stolen, or part of it somebody stole, whatever it is. But somebody could just be, I'll give you a perfect example. This is a connection that you're trying to make, just an example. This is a connection that you're trying to make between a business that you run, or that you run with someone, or people, a group of people here. You're finding out that one of those people bribe. You could be finding out that one of those people within that organization, within the nonprofit, whatever kind of business it is, you're finding out that one of those people bribed someone from a sister organization. You're finding, usually people, in terms of terminology, some people like to use, especially if it's nonprofit, some people like to use sister organization, brother organization, brotherhood organization, whatever it is, or like like some type of fellowship or just a joint funding that is happening, but your boss could be trying to tell you, or you yourself are just finding out that something within the funding, something within the grant, something within the funding is stolen, or somebody stole something there, either to give it to you and your organization, or your boss. Like I said, your boss could be responsible for keeping that information hidden from you. But I was also getting a bribe, so you could be finding out that your boss bribed someone to do something. Your boss bribed someone to give them funding. It just depends, but something is bribe like within the parameters of how businesses or some type of organization has orchestrated their structure here, or how they're orchestrating their agreements between funding and taxes and bribing and money and grants. But somebody is doing heavy bribing in between organizations there, okay? All right, Taurus. So the Wheel of Fortune energy, we're gonna have to leave job. So the Wheel of Fortune energy is underneath because of that information I just gave. I mean, it's pretty general. Like you could pick out any. There's a lot of different. It may sound like what's interesting about these readings is that it may sound really. I mean, it is general, but it may sound really specific in the sense where it sounds specific as a general overview, but you could literally pick out either one of those issues that is channeled from the beginning, or situations. You could pick out just a small bit that will literally resonate with you. But the situation is that it doesn't even, all of that doesn't even necessarily have to relate, or I mean it may, but or increments are just part of it, or increments and part of it may reside with something specific that you have going on, if that makes any sense. All right, but I was getting having a leave job, potentially leave job because leave job, take off or leave a job, but don't want the reason for it. If this is anything heavily connected to what I channeled in the beginning, the reason, if that is something that you're contemplating doing, or someone could be asking you to do this. Someone could be asking you, can you leave? Can you take a vacation? Can you leave temporarily and come back? But one reason why someone could be doing that is for the same situation that I channeled before, where they may not want you to see. They may not want you to see how. However you want to look at leaving the office. Like somebody could be asking you, can you step out the office for a few minutes? I need to make a really important phone call, and that could be where. That the same thing that I channeled from the beginning, that could be where, or a conversation within there somewhere could be what a boss doesn't want you to hear in terms of how they get funding for their program, how they get funding for their organization, for their business. You could be asked to, as simple as that. You could be getting asked to step out the office, step out the room, step out the conference room, whatever the setting is in terms of your workplace. But a more major. It was a more major of an issue. You could literally be finding that out. You could literally be finding out something sketchy like that. It doesn't have to be sketchy. You may just, if it's not necessarily sketchy, you just may not agree with, you personally may just not agree with the way an organization runs, or you don't agree with the way an organization gets their money. You don't agree with how an organization receives their funding, or you don't agree with some type of relationship between two nonprofits, how they develop their relationship, how they, sisterhood, brotherhood, something about that. In terms of sister organizations and workplaces, you may not agree. You may not agree with the other branch, or how an external branch gets their funding, how they get their money. It could be banks, this could be a bank setting, but I wanted to get back to the point where you could just be out of the knowledge of something, or something interesting that it doesn't reside, or it doesn't reside with your beliefs as an individual. You could just be leaving. You could just be telling someone, I'm not really, I don't really like how this is going down. I don't really like how he or she's getting their money. I don't really like the tie between our business and that other organization. I don't really like it. I don't like the tie. Something about the a tie you don't like. So you could be saying to someone, I think I need to leave here. I think that our business bond, our business tie, our sisterhood, our whatever it is, I think that I need to leave. I don't I've been here forever, however long you've been here. It's a conversation that you're having with your boss potentially. I don't like what I see, so I think that I'm gonna leave. However major you want to look at it. Someone could be asking you to do that, and you may decide within yourself. Someone could be asking you to do that because you yourself could be realizing something. There's that. You yourself may have been scooping, researching, and that could be something that a boss doesn't want you to do in terms of how they get their money and funding, or what a boss does, period. I did say stealing, and stealing doesn't have to be organizational stealing or joint organization or joint funding stealing. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It's just somebody doesn't want you in the environment when they're trying to make that kind of transaction. And that could be where they're saying, can you take leave for a minute? Can you take leave? Can you take off? Can you do this, that, and the third? They don't want you to see. Or you could be finding out something on your own and they don't realize it, and you're like, I need to leave. I don't really, this doesn't reside with my beliefs. It just depends on the situation. Whatever it is that you see, whatever it is that's happening there. The King of Cups energies and the starting point. The King of Cups energies are King of Cups, water sign males, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, elements that are males here. But they're like a boss. So the Spirit just said they're like a boss. So if it's a King of Cups, some water sign energy that's a male, they roll like a boss. They move like a boss. However you want to look at it, they may not be the boss. Like I said, they could be your boss's assistant. They could be your boss. I get administration or administrator. Like this could be a school environment. This could be workplace environment. They do something in the main office. So they do something with the school administration but they keep complaining. So when it's school administration, they keep complaining, or they could be, that's why I said they're like a boss. So they could work in the school administration and they complain. You could be on the outside looking in you could be on the outside looking into that's something that you're finding out, something that you're unscrupulous, something that you're finding out that may be unscrupulous. They may have information on, and like I said, they roll like a boss. So they may actually work as like a right hand man, or like a right hand man to your boss. If your boss is a female, if you don't run your own business and you're not your own boss, you could be your own boss, but you can still go into a workplace where you have a female boss or you have a male boss. But this person, they're like a right hand man to your boss that is a female, or to your boss that is a male. It just depends on what's going on. But they act that way. But they also have information on, if they work side by side, the Spirit said administration, if they work side by side in the office with your boss, as your boss's assistant, or they work in administration of some kind, they work in the office, they work upstairs, they work in compliance, that's why I said branch. If this could be a bank setting, whatever the setting is, if they work there, in marketing and compliance and financial affairs and things of that nature, whatever it is that they're responsible for, they can give you information on what they've been seeing. But it keeps telling me funding, so they want to tell you, they're trying to give you information on what they see or what they know about funding. But I'm listening, so I'm looking at the King of Cups energy. They're telling you this, and you're telling them, I'm listening. I'm trying to understand your perspective. I also get mentor. They could also be a mentor to you. You consider them to be something about them. You consider them to be some type of a mentor as well. If they're not only, someone that works in admin or someone that works in administration, whatever it is that their job is, they're an assistant to the boss. If they're not a boss, they act like one. But they can give you information on how an organization gets their funding, if you want to look at, or how a business runs, how a business gets their funding. But I want answers. So every time I go on these examples, I want answers answers. Wheel of Fortune, you're trying, the Wheel of Fortune energy underneath is having a conversation with this person. What have you been doing? So the Wheel of Fortune underneath is having a conversation with the King of Cups energy, and you're asking them what they've been doing. How are you getting this money? What are you talking to the boss about? What they're doing. So when I said that, what are you talking to the boss about? It has something to do with what the boss is doing, how the boss gets their money, how the boss generates funds and funding and grants and things of that nature. The King of Cups energy can give you that information, but the only reason why they can is because the only reason why they can is that they that's why I said assistant to someone in the office, assistant to someone that you work with, this, that, and the third. The reason why they can is because they have some type of special access. Again, account. They have some type of special access into some type of business account, nonprofit account, funding account. They have access into that, or they have passwords and codes and things of that nature. They have that information, but not supposed to give it to you. So when I said they're not supposed to give that to you, so the Wheel of Fortune energy underneath caught. The Wheel of Fortune energy underneath is that you could be getting caught having, okay, I understand what's happening. If this is a workplace setting and you want to know, or you want, that's what's stolen and things of that nature. The Wheel of Fortune underneath with their energy is that I'll give you one or two situations here. If this is a workplace and stolen funding money and grant money, whatever it is, they have access, but they have access to that money for an organization or for a business, but they steal it. That's why Wheel of Fortune energy is underneath. But I was also getting that they're not supposed to give you they're also not supposed to give you first-hand access. They're not supposed to give you first-hand access. For some reason, they're giving you first-hand access into some type of account that the spirit is saying you're not supposed to have, but don't give me. So when I said that, don't give me, like some type of leeway that they have into some type of financial some type of leeway that they have into some type of financial or some type of account of some kind for an organization or a nonprofit, they have access to. But the spirit is also implying that they're really not, they have access to it, but they're at the same time they're not necessarily supposed to have access. But what's happening with the Wheel of Fortune is that they could be handing over those passwords and that account information, this, that, and the third. They could be handing that over, but I'm not supposed to have. They could be handing it over to you, but you're not supposed to have it. For some reason, you're not supposed to have it. They're not supposed to have it. But are we gonna get caught? So the King of Cups energy with the Wheel of Fortune. Are we gonna get caught with this information, with this account number, with this pin? Are we going to get caught with these passwords and things? But don't make it obvious. Are we going to get caught with these passwords and things of that nature? Don't make something obvious. Don't make something obvious that you have it written down somewhere. Don't make it obvious. Don't stand in front of a surveillance video and copy down the account information for the organization that even sent the grant money and the funding. Don't write down, but that's what they do. So when I said that when I ran on that example, that's what the King of Cups energies does. That's what the King of Cups, and one of these King of Cups energies, that's what they do. And the Wheel of Fortune, that's why I said earlier on the reading, when I was doing the channeling part from the beginning, earlier on in the reading, when I said you could be on the outside looking into that. You could be on the outside looking into that. Could be something that an external source or someone else is dealing with in terms of asked to leave workplace. They could be asked to leave the workplace because they're handling information. The way they're handling information, they're not supposed to be handling it. But boss wanted them to do something a certain way. So when I said that, their boss, it could be a boss that you share with them or their own boss. Their boss allowed them to handle something, but only in a certain way. But this is a situation. They're being given literally like a paper of 1, 2, 3, 4 instruction, but they could be going beyond that. Like they could be going beyond what they're directed or what they're being asked to do, doing extra. They're doing extra, and the doing extra implies that they're doing extra and means that they could be doing something else with money. They could be doing something else with passwords and things that someone didn't necessarily ask them to do. But why are you doing it? So the King of Cups energy, why are you doing that? You know, you're going to lose your job. You're going to get laid off. You're going to get caught. You're going to get this, that, and the third. But don't care also. So the King of Cups energy may not care about that. It just depends on what's going on. The waiting position has the sign of Aquarius, but works with them. So an Aquarian energy that you're tied to works with a King of Cups. The same craziness I mean, the way the spirit is making it seem like some element about it could be crazy because they could be getting caught, and at the same time, they're not supposed to have some type of information, but put you in the middle of it. So when I said it, they put you in the middle of it. So it could be an Aquarian energy. It's an Aquarian energy that may have that same kind of situation. It's an Aquarian energy that in the workplace and whatever the setting, the office, whatever the setting is here, it's an Aquarian energy that they deal with the same kind of stuff that the King of Cups energy does, but at the same time they're right hand man. At the same time they're also like a right hand. They're either a right hand man to you, they're a right hand man to you, or they're a right hand man to the King of Cups. They do the same work together. They're a team, not supposed to be doing something either. They're a team, but the Aquarian energy is not supposed to be doing something either. They're also not supposed to be doing something. So what's happening here? You're waiting on this person and want you in the middle of that situation. You're waiting on the Aquarian, but the reason why you're waiting for want you out of a situation. The reason why you're waiting on them is because the King of Cups energy could be the King of Cups energy that put you unintentionally or intentionally put you in the middle of some funding issue. They put you in the middle of or they're trying to put you in the middle of some type of funding issue, some type of grant situation that's happening here. They're trying to put you, the King of Cups is trying to put you in the middle of that situation. But here comes the Aquarian energy. Here comes the Aquarian energy that the spirit is saying that because they deal with the King of Cups energy in that way, want you in the middle. Every time I say that, they want you in the, I understand the spirit, I understand the spirit emphasizing they want you in the middle. Both of them may want you in the middle of it because they may not want to get caught, but for whatever reason, they're going to get caught with some type of information or funding information and grant information that they're not supposed to have. They want you in the middle because the Aquarian energy observes. The Aquarian energy has the King of Cups energy as their partner. That's singular. But at the same time, the Aquarian energy observes you to the Aquarian energy observes you to have a closer bond or relationship to the King of Cups energy, and that could be why the King of Cups energy feels so comfortable with handing over some type of information to you. You're talking to the Aquarian. I don't want to deal with this. You're talking to the Aquarian energy. I don't want to deal with something that the King of Cups energy is not supposed to be doing. Why are they trying to hand me over their responsibility? They don't want to get caught. They're trying to hand you over some type of responsibility that they're supposed to have, but at the same time you're thinking that you're going to get caught because what they're doing, what early on in the reading, what they're doing that you're saying that they're going to get caught with is that they could be trying, that's why the Wheel of Fortune energy is underneath, they could be trying to cover themselves and hand you over. Okay, they could be trying to cover themselves and hand you over some type of responsibility that they were given. But that's how they're trying to cover themselves. That's how they're trying to cover themselves. But that's why I said they want you in the middle of it. You're trying to get out, and I don't want to lose job, and don't want them to lose their job. You may not want the King of Cups energy, one of the King of Cups energies, to lose their job, but they're trying to safeguard themselves and hand you over where they left off. They're trying to safeguard themselves and hand you over something that something that they're doing. They're trying to hand you over their responsibility in the middle of a situation. But that's where the Aquarian energy comes in. So when I said that's where the Aquarian energy comes in, as a savior. They may be a savior to you, but talk to King of Cups energy. So I'm looking at the Aquarian. You need the Aquarian energy to pull the King of Cups energy aside and say and have a conversation with them. Don't give you this information to hold. Don't give you these passwords. Don't give you this. I keep getting grant funding. Don't give you that information. But if they're not there also, so the Aquarian energy could be whoever it is that is not supposed to be here at that specific time as well, in the office and whatever, the workplace, in the conference room, whatever the setting is here, you're telling the Aquarian, wait for King of Cups to leave. You're telling the Aquarian energy, wait for the King of Cups energy to leave. Are they telling you to wait for the King of Cups energy to leave? But that's when they're going to pass over information to you. So the King of Cups energy, they need to leave, like permanently leave for somewhere. Oh, I understand what's happening here. The Aquarian energy is trying to tell you that the King of Cups energy, the King of Cups energy, they're going to get caught. That's one situation, is that they're going to get caught. But at the same time, the Aquarian energy is trying to tell you, wait for them to leave the workplace. Wait for them to leave permanently. Wait for them to leave temporarily, so that taking over their position. One part of it also has to do with you taking over their position. Oh, now I understand what's happening. If this is, I need to rewind a little bit so I could clarify. This is also a situation here. If this is workplace, they, like I said, this energy, like they're not supposed to be. They may have been given. I'll go with them as a boss assistant first. They may have been given some type of responsibility by the boss, that's why I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instruction, like direct instruction that they've been given precisely by the boss, whoever the boss is. The Aquarian energy could be the boss, but it's a trap. An Aquarian energy could be like a boss, but it's something about them being that way is also a trap. But the King of Cups energy, the King of Cups energy has they're given specific directions, but they're doing extra. But that was set up on them. They're being given specific 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 directions precisely, but something about that was set up on them so I could take over. Something about that was also set up on them like that to be that way so that you could take over, so that they could potentially get caught with something, that this is interesting. I'm trying to understand. That's a lot of information. It's really interesting, convoluted situation that's happening here. I'm trying to really take my time and break this down as carefully as I possibly can. The King of Cups energy, like it's a lot of information that's coming through here. They're being given, like they're being given like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instruction. But like I said earlier on in the reading, they're adding on some type of extra that they're not supposed to do. They're adding on some type of extra responsibility to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instruction. They're adding on whatever is extra to that they're not supposed to do, but that's the tactic. So when I said that's the tactic, so I don't know if that's a tactic that the Aquarian energy gave them. I don't know if that's a tactic that they have. I don't know if that's a tactic that the Aquarian energy has on them, or that you want their spot that you have on them, and that could be a tactic that you placed on them because you want their spot. I understand. They may be that something going on with them where one element about them is that one element about them is that they may be okay in the workplace, but the Aquarian doesn't really want to work with them anymore. The Aquarian energy doesn't really want to work with them anymore. They may prefer to work with you. But what's happening with it is that either you or the Aquarian energy gave them some type of extra responsibility to that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instruction, but they're really not supposed to do. So when I said that they're really not supposed to do, but what's happening with it is that they're potentially, that's why we are fortunate, potentially they're going to get caught, but I keep getting that's the tactic. Potentially they're going to get caught by a boss or supervisor of some kind, but that's actually a tactic. So what it feels like, before I go any further, what it feels like is that they have one responsibility. That's why they act like a boss, and you in an Aquarian energy may not want them to have that kind of favoritism by a boss anymore, or they could be a boss. They themselves could be a boss that is getting thrown under the bus. That could be a situation where they handle something and you want their spot. Aquarian want their spot. Aquarian work with them side by side, but it's some type of interesting tactic that is on them, because somebody in the workplace or somebody's in the workplace may not want to see them have some type of responsibility anymore. So they're being given 1, 2, 3 instruction, and either the Aquarian energy set up you to give them an extra instruction that they're really not supposed to have, or I was on the outside looking into that happening. So when I said that, you're saying that you were on the outside looking into that happening, but something like that could have happened to the Aquarian energy once before. Something like that could have happened to the Aquarian energy once before, but they didn't know. So when I said that, the Aquarian energy didn't know, but they're also tag teamed with the King of Cups energy in some type of work environment here or business deal. They're tag teamed with them, but they also don't want to see the King of Cups energy anymore. So what they did was they formulated some type of tactic on them, so stop doing something, so that they also would stop doing something. But I also get demeaning. So one of the King of Cups energy, they could be demeaning. Something about them is the Aquarian energy demeaning to them. The Aquarian energy may be demeaning to them, or they are demeaning to the Aquarian. But they're like partners. They're business partners to each other. They're like co-workers, colleagues to each other. But they don't want this person. They don't want this person around. And that's where the secretive connection, and you waiting on the Aquarian energy to give you, or wait for the King of Cups energy to permanently leave the workplace, because some element of a responsibility that the King of Cups energy has, it's going to cause them to leave their job. It's going to cause them to leave their job, take off from their job, to work at home, temporarily be out of the office for a long period of time. But why do that to them? So when I say that, also look at the Aquarian energy. That's why I said outside looking in. You could be in the outside looking into. That's some type of issue that the Aquarian energy has with the King of Cups energy, or that's something that the Aquarian energy does with the King subconsciously. The Aquarian energy does something like that, or a plan like that on the King of Cups energy, but they do it subconsciously, and you may not understand why the Aquarian energy doesn't like the King of Cups, or vice versa. That could be something that is happening to the Aquarian. Like I said, the Spirit said once before. Something like that happened once before, but the Aquarian energy may have safeguarded their place in the workplace or in a business deal. They may have safeguarded it. They may have safeguarded it, cleaned it up, and their way of, if that happened to the Aquarian energy before, their way of safeguarding it or cleaning it up is by fucking up something that the King of Cups energy has going on. This depends on what's going on, because the King of Cups energy, an element about the King of Cups energy that they may be new and they may not know. So someone's trying to design a tactic, or design something where they make an they're gonna make an unintentional mistake. It's only because somebody doesn't want them to have that kind of place. That Aquarian energy could be trying to scheme, because they once had the same kind of responsibility or favoritism that the King of Cups energy has. So what's happening? They want it back. So what's happening also, and they have you in the middle of it, yes. What's happening also is that they're also trying to retrieve something that the King of Cups energy lost, but it could also be their fault that the King of Cups energy lost it. So money, funding, whatever it is, passwords, whatever it is. But it was done, some element about it is that it was done on purpose to that person, or the Aquarian, or something like that once happened to the Aquarian energy before. But they have you in the middle, because the Aquarian energy wait till they leave, clean up, wait till they leave, so we can clean up this situation that they did. If they leave permanently, it's whatever kind of tactic this is that it's so that either one of those elements can leave somewhere permanently or temporarily. But it has something, it could, whatever environment, it could be a work or home environment, whatever it is. It could just be whatever, somebody's giving instruction, but there's an added on instruction that Aquarian put somewhere. There's an added on instruction that the Aquarian energy put somewhere for that person, vice versa. It's so that somebody would mess up and leave somewhere temporarily, or for however long of a time, in a business deal, workplace. It just depends on what's going on. Home, this could be happening. It could be as small as a home environment situation with somebody, and being given instruction, but they're unintentionally doing the instruction wrong, but they didn't know. But that's just a tactic. But somebody potentially, they got in trouble for it or something. Somebody could have gotten, that's why Wheel of Fortune, somebody could have gotten in trouble for it. It just depends on what's going on. The Death card energy is here for the sign of Scorpio. So it could be a Scorpio male, that could be something that I observed. That could be something that you observe that happened to a Scorpio male, or that's something that it could be a Pisces male, whichever Cancerian, whatever water sign energy that's a male. That happens to all of them. So I ran through all the water sign males. That's something that the Death card energy in the present is that's something interesting, some type of tactic, some type of interesting tactic, some type of shadiness. Something happens to them. All those water sign energies all the time, but oblivious. So I'm looking at the Death card energy in the present. That water sign, one of the water sign males, they could be oblivious to those kind of tactics happening to them all the time. But that's what the Aquarian said. So when I said that, the Aquarian energy's voice is that's some type of the Aquarian energy's voice is that some type of interesting tactic that happens to the water sign male, they're oblivious to. That's the voice of the Aquarian. That's the voice of the Aquarian, or something with the Aquarian energy trying to safeguard their spot somewhere. I'll just go with them trying to safeguard their spot. If they're trying to safeguard their spot, and the King of Cups energy took it, and whatever the setting is, and the King of Cups energy took it, what's happening is the King of Cups energy could have been talking about the Aquarian energy in that exact same way. But the Death card energy resides with you. The Death card energy resides with you, but don't relay also. So the Death card energy in the present resides with you also, because it's telling me, the Spirit is telling me, don't relay Don't have a conversation with the Aquarian energy about the yet. Don't have a conversation with the Aquarian energy yet. The spirit said yet. Don't have a conversation with them yet until one of the King of Cups energy leave the workplace. Permanently or temporarily leave the workplace. Or the Death card energy is don't tell them something. I'm looking at the King of Cups. Don't tell the King of Cups energy something until the Aquarian energy has left. Oh, I see what's going on here. So whew, this is crazy. Something. Okay, let me rewind. I need to rewind. I'm gonna have to keep doing this multiple times. Oh my god. The same type of situation. I'll just maybe just go back just 2 seconds here. The same kind of situation that's interesting that's happening with the King of Cups. It also happened to the Aquarian. But what's happening? They need to leave. What's happening also? Death card energy is that they may need to leave. Okay, they may need to leave in order to fix something. They may need to leave in order to fix something that is happening in whatever the environment it is here. They need to leave temporarily or permanently in order for something to be fixed, in order for a situation to be fixed by a proper understanding. So they need to leave in order for you to gain proper understanding into a situation like that. That could be the voice. That could be the voice to the King of Cups energy to you. Like the Aquarian energy needs to, so I can explain something to you. The King of Cups energy is trying to tell you, like the Aquarian energy needs to leave so I could explain something to you precisely. But how something is done the right way, like explaining. Oh, I see what's happening here. Oh, I understand. I understand what's happening. This is really interesting. This is a lot of information. Oh my god. I have a headache. All right, the King of Cups energy. That's why I said you're on the outside looking in. You're on the outside looking into the King of Cups energy is being given like precise instruction to do something. That's why I said 1, 2, 3 instruction. They're being given like some type of instruction, but added on and instruct, like they added on something to the bullet point list that they're supposed to do, whatever it is in the workplace, whatever the setting is. They added something, but really not supposed to. So the spirit was saying that they're really not supposed to do that. But the Death card energy in the present, that's a tactic. The Death card energy in the present is that's a tactic. Don't want Aquarian to see something. It's a tactic because the King of Cups energy does not want the Aquarian energy to see that they added on something to. I also get a list of objectives that they added on something. They added on something to a list of objectives. They added on something to a list of instruction. That's what the King of Cups energy did. Diverge Aquarian. That's what the King of Cups energy did. But it's to diverge the Aquarian. So I'll give you a perfect example. This is okay. Whew, oh my god. I'll go with this setting as a workplace first. The King of Cups has a list. The King of Cups energy has a list of like I'm gonna go with it as a workplace. The King of Cups energy has a list of like objectives, like from 1 to 5. They have a list of objectives and things they're supposed to cover. Added on one. So the spirit agrees with the example. The King of Cups energy, they added on one. So what's happening here is that they could be having a conversation with you about that in the workplace. But so what's happening is that the Aquarian energy in the scene. The Aquarian energy could be in the scene here between you and one of these King of Cups energies. They could be in the scene with them as that's what it's supposed to be. They're in the scene. The Aquarian energy is in the scene the Aquarian energy is in the scene, or they're in the environment as the King of Cups energy is running through these instructions and objectives with you. They're in the scene, they're in the environment. They're supposed to be. But erase the last thing. The Aquarian energy needs to, when the Aquarian energy when the Aquarian energy leaves, the King of Cups energy or you're going to erase or chop off or get rid of an extra instruction. So it's an extra instruction. Okay, this is really interesting. It's an extra don't want Aquarian energy to see. It's an extra instruction that is either not supposed to be done. One situation here that the spirit is trying to get me to understand. One situation here is that it's an extra instruction that is either not supposed to be done or it's supposed to be done. If not added on to list, if it's supposed to be done, then it's not being added on to list on purpose. But that's what the King of Cups energy did. So the Death card energy in the present with the King of Cups that's what a Cancer did. That's what a Pisces did. That's what a water sign male did. That's what a Scorpio male did. That's what the water sign energy male did. The tactic on Aquarian. That's also a tactic that they have on the Aquarian. So they're being given within in the same environment. They're being given like a list of instruction or some sort of list of objectives, a list of whatever it is that they're supposed to do. They're being given a direct list of it. They're being given a but it's just a diversion. So they're being given a list of it, but it's just a diversion. So I'll give you a perfect example. This could be also the King of Cups responsible for the Aquarian. The King of Cups energy, like they're some type of environment here. They're responsible for the Aquarian, but wants them to be like they want them to be, I don't know, distracted for a while, or they want to give them some type of diversion, like they want to diverge their attention away from something, whatever it is. It could be a conversation that they're trying to have with you, some type of private conversation. Like I said earlier on in the reading, this energy, like they have some type of access. That's why I say you're not supposed to don't want Aquarian to see. Like they don't want the Aquarian energy to see some type of special access that they have from the beginning that they want to share with you. They don't want the Aquarian energy to see. So what's happening here is that you're in the environment with them, and they have a list to do. They have a list of to do, but they're adding on. They're adding on because the reason why it's happening the way it is here is because somebody may have a thought that in Aquarian energy they just get things done too quickly. They may get things done too quickly. They may come back somewhere too quickly. They may, whatever it is, they come to work really early, whatever it is that they do, or they stay in somewhere late, whatever it is that the issue that somebody has with them all the time. So what's happening here need to be diverged. They need to be like, they need somebody's trying to diverge their attention for a long period of time for some reason, or get them distracted with something else for a long period of time. So the King of Cups, that's one situation. But then the King of Cups energy also wants to share some type of private access that they have into company funds and grants and some type of whatever it is, some type of account. They may want to share that with you. The spirit said you're not supposed to have, but at the same time, you and them, or they don't want the Aquarian energy in the environment because they're gonna tell. So they don't want the Aquarian, you and them, or just them, don't want the Aquarian energy in the environment because they're gonna say something to somebody else. They're gonna say something to a boss. They're gonna say something to a higher up, or some type of boss, or some type of external supervisor of some kind. They're gonna say something because they may be favored by those people. It once happened to them. They may be favored, or they may have gained favoritism by those people because it once happened to them before. So the idea is to give somebody a list of instruction to keep them occupied. It's to give somebody a list of instruction to keep them occupied. So it's either something that it's either something that the King of Cups energy is sharing with you that you're not supposed to have. They don't want Aquarian energy to see. It's a list of instruction that they added on something. It's also a list of instruction that a King of Cups energy added on an extra objective to do. The Aquarian is added on. Aquarian energy doesn't really need to do that. It's just a diversion. Do you not? Is that happening to you? Like something like that could be happening to you. You know what I mean? Something like that could be. But I feel like you're an onlooker. I feel like one element here, that's why Death card energy is here, because I do feel it's heavy. Somebody's not supposed to have some type of information. It's heavy because someone isn't supposed to have some type of information. Like they're not supposed to have it, or someone just doesn't want them to. Someone just doesn't want someone else to do well at something in the workplace. So slip up. So they may want the Aquarian energy to slip up somewhere. They may want them to slip up. Adding on another extra instruction that doesn't really need to be there. It's just to diverge somebody, or that's one thing. But I also feel like someone is trying to give you favoritism into some type of secrecy, but the Aquarian energy can't be in the environment when the King of Cups energy is trying to give that to you, vice versa. So that could be an interaction that you have with the Aquarian energy on the King of Cups or whatever it is. But the Scorpio energy happens to them also. The Scorpio energy in the present is something like that happens to the Scorpio also. Something like that happens to them. Complain about Aquarian. That happens to them because they also complain about the Aquarian. Or the Aquarian energy complains about them. That's why I said it could be a Scorpio male, whatever water sign male that they orchestrate. The water sign male energy orchestrates whatever is strange is happening with accounts and objectives and 1, 2, 3 lists and added on things, ticking off things, or it's a list of instruction where somebody erased something that was supposed to happen to Aquarian. Somebody erased something, or they deleted something. They went in the computer and deleted something that was actually supposed to be done, but that's a tactic that someone so they would leave. That's a tactic on the Aquarian energy so that they would leave. And even if it's not only like clerical, if it's not like an office and work setting necessarily, also it could be home environment. It could be like where somebody's being given a list as simple as that. Somebody could be given a list of to do. The Aquarian that needs to be distracted. Somebody just wants them distracted. King of Cups energy giving you that list of to do to give to the Aquarian, but they're adding on something, erasing something. This is like it's somebody working on a car. A perfect example, somebody could be working on a car and adding on something that doesn't really need to happen. Adding on something that doesn't really need to happen on the instruction list. Somebody just wants somebody, or adding on something that doesn't need to be done, or whatever it is, but it's to diverge somebody from seeing, it's to diverge someone from seeing something happen. Okay, it's to diverge somebody from seeing something or gaining information that they don't want someone else to have for whatever reason. Account information and things of that nature. The future has the King of Swords energy, okay? And the instincts has the King of Wands energy. So the King of Wands could be Leo. I always look at the King of Wands energies to be Leo, could be Sag male, Aries male, but they constantly do that. So the fire sign energies that are males in the instincts, they constantly do that. So I don't even really need to explain it. They constantly do that. You're thinking that they constantly do something interesting like that to the Aquarian, or they constantly do that. Have conversation with King of Cups. They constantly have conversations with the King of Cups energy about Aquarian, or about how to distract. So the King of Wands energy is having conversations with the King of Wands energy. One of the King of Wands energy, they could be that they're higher up. The King of Wands energy could be the higher up in whatever the setting is here. However you want, a father. The King of Wands energy in a boss, a supervisor of some kind, a manager. The King of Wands energy could be responsible for the King of Cups energy. Gives them the direction. So the King of Wands energy gives the King of Cups energy the directions, and whatever the setting is here, they give them direction, like they give them, but it's to give to Aquarian. So it's a chain reaction here. So the King of Wands gives the King of Cups energy like precise instruction to do something, but they don't really want to do it also. So when I said that the King of Wands energy gives the King of Cups energy like direct and precise instruction to do something, the King of Cups energy doesn't really want to do it, and that could be where they're trying to tell you give to Aquarian. That could also be where they're trying to tell you to just pass on that information, give that instruction. Oh, I see what's going on here. The King of Cups energy also is being given like a list of to do. They're being given lists of instruction about funding and money and taxes and whatever it is. They're being given that, but don't really want to do it. They don't want to type it in Excel. They don't want to do it if it's workplace. They don't want to do it. So they're giving it. They're telling you, the King of Cups energy is trying to tell you that pass it along to the Aquarian. They're trying to tell you pass along. That's why I said you're in the middle of it. They're trying to tell you pass it along to the but starting to pick up, or they're starting to realize that something is a tactic on them. Like they're starting to realize that something, but realize that for a while. They're starting to realize that something was a tactic on them for a while. Like they probably have not been realizing that something was, but using intuition, they're starting to realize, or they're using their intuition that something it's not mine. They're using their intuition that something is not theirs, or something is not supposed to be for them. Some type of direct instruction not for them. Some type of direct instruction that you're giving to them, or King of Cups is giving to them, it's not for them. This is as simple as somebody passing along instruction or responsibility. That's why I said responsibilities earlier on in the reading with this person. They don't want to take on their responsibilities. So they have you in the middle. They have you in the middle situation. They don't want to handle their responsibility, give to Aquarian. They don't want to handle their responsibilities in the workplace. They want to give it to the Aquarian. But that's one situation. They just don't want to be responsible for whatever the King of Wands energy wants, the taxes. The King of Wands energy wants to give them information about taxes. Don't want to hold. They don't want to hold the information. So they're passing along the information to the Aquarian. But why do I have to do this? The Aquarian energy is like, why do I have to hold this information? Why do I have to do this? Why am I being asked to submit this, that, and the third? This is not like an employee handbook and those kind of things. This is not for me. I'm just a co-worker. This is not my responsibility. You know, in terms of the hierarchy, in terms of the chain of command, they're being given responsibilities that aren't even supposed to be for them, but somebody wants them heavily diverged. Death card energy in the present, somebody wants them heavily diverged all the time for some reason, and complains. But I'm looking at the King wants energy. The King wants energy complains. The King wants energy complains. So they're either complaining because of what, because of potentially with the death card energy in the present. They're either complaining but watching someone get fired also. The death card energy in the present is watching, or you're outside you're watching somebody get fired. Like that could be possible. You're watching somebody, however you will look at, fired or let go, whatever. That's why the world is no, sorry, not the world. That's why the Wheel of Fortune energy is underneath. You're watching somebody get fired. You're watching somebody get let go. But the reason for it not fulfilling promises, not doing responsibility, and that could be fearing happening to King of Cups. That's what you're fearing, that either you want it to happen, like there's a couple of different situations from the beginning. You either want it to happen to them or not. Or it's the Aquarian energy that keeps happening to. It's the Aquarian that it keeps happening to. But eventually the King wants energy is gonna find out that's why they're complaining. Eventually the King wants energy is gonna find out what's happening. That's why they're complaining. That why isn't my they're okay, they could be responsible. They're at the top right here in the headspace. They're responsible for typing up a paper. They're responsible for writing out the instruction, but frustrated on what they get back. So the King wants energy. They're frustrated on what they get back, or what on what is being relayed to them. They're frustrated on what they're getting back. Whatever is the King of Cups, whatever it is that I keep getting, it's their boss. Like they're like a boss to them. The King of Wands energy is like a boss. The King of Wands is like a boss to the King of Cups. But they have precise instruction for the King of Cups energy to follow. Messing up. They're messing up. But what's happening here? What's happening with it is that the King of Cups energy right here in the middle. They've designed. I see what's happening here also. This is really interesting. The King of Wands has something for Aquarian also. The King of Wands energy, like they're in some type of, their position is higher than Aquarians. Their position in the workplace and whatever the setting is, their position or their position goals or their position responsibility and requirements is higher than the Aquarian. The hierarchy of business is higher than the Aquarian energies. So they have a list of responsibility for the Aquarian energy to follow going through King of Cups. They have that, but it's going through the King of Cups energy. But the King of Cups energy does not like the Aquarian. So what's happening with it is that whatever the King wants energy is, the King of Cups is like the King of Cups energy it keeps telling me chain of command. The King of Cups energy is in some type of setting that they're a part of a chain of command. So whatever it is the King of Wands energy want the Aquarian, somebody's like re-altering it or they're re-editing it. Whatever it is that the Aquarian energy was supposed to get precisely, the King of Wands energy, like they have it exactly how they want it, but don't realize the tactic. They have it designed exactly how they want it, but they don't realize that a tactic is on the Aquarian, because they also don't realize that a King of Cups energy does not like the Aquarian. So the King of Wands energy has things specific that they want the Aquarian energy to do, but because they're going through the King of Cups energy is they're changing, they're erasing, they're re-editing whatever is the King of Wands energy, whatever is the King of Wands energy want the Aquarian energy to do is going through the King of Cups. The King of Cups energy is re-editing that. And the Death card energy in the present is observed. The Death card energy in the present is that you've been observing that happening to someone for a long period of time. If it's not anything necessarily typed or instruction and things of that nature, it could also be information or like a conversation where somebody could be morphing. Somebody could have tell Aquarian to do this, that, and the third. Tell them to do that, go outside and do this, that, and the third. Tell them to go upstairs into the other office and get this, that, and the third, but adding on instruction. So the King of Cups energy is adding on some type of instruction that the Aquarian energy really isn't supposed to do. Trying to get them thrown under the bus. Somebody's trying to get them thrown under the bus, and whatever whatever the setting is, somebody's trying to get that to happen. That's why they keep leaving. Somebody has a tactic on them to get them thrown under the bus, and that's why they keep leaving. They keep leaving somewhere. They keep taking off from somewhere. Whatever it is, the death card energy. You're on the outside looking into that. That happens, but you also don't want to be. You also don't want to be in the middle of it, because if the kid wants energy, top the spirit said top dog. If the kid wants energy finds out that you are in the middle of knowing something about that, then you potentially could end up getting in trouble. And however, like a warning or whatever, you potentially would end up but not going to get caught. You may not get caught, but you may be fearing that you're going to get in trouble because you're in the middle of that situation. Wow. The Five of Cups energy is right next to the King of Cups energy, okay? So what they did. So the Five of Cups, I mean, it's minor arcana, so I don't really need to explain. It's what they did, it's what they've been doing. It's what they've been doing to Aquarian, what they've been telling you about money and funding and things of that nature. They could be with the funding. The situation with the funding is that if this is a money situation, the situation gave them a certain amount. The King of Wands gave the King of Cups energy a certain amount of money to send off somewhere, and they could be using that money. They could be using it, and some part of that is getting relayed to the Aquarian, and they could be wondering why a certain amount of money, a company funding. They could be wondering why a portion of company money is missing, or they may not realize the King of Cups morphed something. The King of Cups energy with the Five of Cups right next to them, they morphed some type of instruction. They said the King of Cups energy is relaying to the Aquarian. The boss gave 500, but they told me to take out $5. You know what I mean? They told me to take out 10 to use on something else, but that's not really. And the King of Cups energy telling the Aquarian just send off the $495, but that's not really supposed to happen to them. That's not really supposed to be done. But they're confused. So the Aquarian energy, they may be confused. They're trying to, the King of Cups energy, like they're trying to safeguard their position and favoritism that they do receive, but from the King of Wands, but the King of Wands is going to eventually find out what they've been doing and let them go and save Aquarian. Let the King of Cups energy go and save the Aquarian. And it may not be fair that something happens to the Aquarian energy like that all the time. Or why somebody may start realizing, or they may not understand why why this person is hated. Someone is hated about them, like hated, like extreme hated, like really hate them, like or not, or some they don't like them for some reason. I don't know. Wow, that's interesting. What do you call this? Are you doing something like that? Are you doing something like that with this person? You know what I mean? Are you doing something like that? But tired of seeing someone also. So I'm looking at the Aquarian energy. You're tired of seeing them. Like seeing them somewhere. But for whatever reason, you're just tired of seeing them. The Moon card is in the spiritual self right next to the Aquarian energy. But not going to come back. So you could be using your intuition that they're not going to come back. They finding out something and they may not come back. Extended stay. They could have went somewhere and that could be something they keep doing. They do extended stays somewhere, whatever it is. They do extended stays in different locations. They do extended stays. Wherever they go, they do extended stay. Or you're using your intuition that they not going to do that anymore. You could be using your intuition that something about them taking an extended stay somewhere, or something about them having an extended stay somewhere is going to come to a halt. Something about that is going to come to a halt, or that's something that they're going to keep doing all the time. But if they find out something, or if they don't find out something, that's something. If somebody goes away, like if they take off or whatever, if somebody goes away because of what they're realizing is happening to them, if somebody goes away, if they go away for a long period of time and they don't realize what's happening, that could, and they don't realize that that's what's happening, they could be, what do you call it? Then they may stay, but then they may stay away longer. Or if they do realize, gonna contact King of Wands, if they do start to realize what's happening, then they're gonna realize and they're gonna start contacting the King of Wands energy. And they're like, damn. And you're like, well, that's how somebody's going to end up being back somewhere, fixing a job. They're going to end up fixing their job. And that's why the Death card and the Five of Cups energy is right next to the King of Cups. And you may not want the King of Cups energy to lose their placement somewhere. You don't want them to lose their placement. But you realize, or you're in the middle of conversations and instruction and direct instruction that you've been sitting and realizing that it's been getting morphed or tweaked all the time because coworkers don't like another coworker, whatever it is, whatever that I don't know if that's a tactic that the Kim wants energy secretly wanted to happen to someone. I don't feel that heavily. I feel like they just relay and somebody is what do you call it? Somebody's altering something that's supposed to go to the Aquarian energy all the time. You know? And if somebody realized that that's happening, they could possibly save their job, but somebody doesn't want that. And if that does happen, they're gonna lose their job. If that does happen, the Aquarian energy realizes that and they start complaining about it, then the King of Cups energy, they're gonna lose their job, and you want them to stay. And you may be helping them cover up something all the time. And if the King of Wands energy finds out that you are doing that, it can something can happen there with you with that. You know, that's why I said Wheel of Fortune. It's Wheel of Fortune energy underneath. You don't want to have to leave. You know, find out somebody's stealing and what the reason why they're doing that. You know what I mean? Wow. The mentality has the Page of Cups energy. So the Page of Cups resides with the King of Wands energy, but need to talk to. So the King of Wands and the Page of Cups, you need to have a conversation with the King of Wands. You need to have a conversation with them. You know, have a conversation about. I also get borrow. Have a conversation with them about borrowing money. Borrowing something, having a conversation with them about borrowing, or that you saw somebody borrow something. You know, you could have seen somebody. This could be a situation here, like I said, with the King of Cups energy and the money and the Five of Cups right next to them and Death card energy. What's happening? Another situation is that something that you've been observing about King of Cups energy with money and taxes and things of that nature and funding and company funds and what they do with the money, what the King of Cups energy has been doing with the money and whatever it is they're not supposed to be doing with the money. That could be something the conversation that you're trying to have with the King of Wands that break down and tell them. That could be something you want to break down and tell the King of Wands. That could be something you just want to break down and tell them that the King of Cups has been doing. But I just observe. So if you don't necessarily want to throw the King of Cups energy under the bus, that's just something that you want to tell the King of Wands energy that you've been observing. You've been observing someone doing that in the workplace or whatever the setting is there in the home. You've been observing that somebody doing that somewhere in an organization. You've been observing someone doing that, and that could be what you want to reveal to that person. But you want to cryptically. You want to reveal it, but you want to do it in a cryptic way. You don't want to do it so that it's obvious. You don't want to do it so that it's obvious or that it looks obvious to somebody. You may not want that to happen. You know, you want to do it. You're trying to do it secretively. You know, but the one element about you doing that. Two elements here about you trying to do that is you're either trying to safeguard or protect the Aquarian. You are not, or you're trying to safeguard or protect the King of Cups. Whatever the reason. You know, or you just want to in order to save yourself because you've been seeing it or you're not seeing it, or somebody keeps talking to you about shadiness that they've been doing somewhere, but the Death card energy, I don't want to lose my placement somewhere. So you're trying to tell someone, I noticed something off about the funds. You know, I don't know this is your voice. I don't know who's doing it, but you really have. I don't know who's doing it, but I'm trying to protect the identity of the person that stole. I'm trying to protect the identity of another person that I observed doing something wrong in the workplace. But you're protecting yourself. You may also feel bad. You're protecting yourself, but you also feel bad, and you're like, I've been noticing something is off. I just want to run that by you. You know, I noticed that something was off about the funds or the taxes. I noticed that something was off with this paperwork. I noticed that something was off with this project. I noticed. But you're not trying to out the person that you've been observing that is responsible for the reason to why something's messed up. You know? What's changing is the Seven of Wands energy. All right, the Seven of Wands, but don't need the Seven of Wands. You don't need to argue with someone because of some type of tactic that you have. It's the way you talk to somebody, the way you're deciding to talk to someone is you're thinking that you're gonna like diverge. You're thinking that you're going to dodge an argument of some type. You know, nothing is going to. It's not going to be difficult for you to talk to this person because of it's the way you're deciding to talk to them. It's the way you're deciding, like the example I just gave. It's the way you're deciding to talk to someone. The way you're trying, the way that's why the death card is there. The way you're start deciding to talk to someone, or the way and choose your wording properly. You may want to choose your wording properly. That's why Seven of Wands is in changing. But choose your wording. Do they need to choose their wording properly with you? I just feel like you're an observer. I don't feel like this is anything that's happened. I just feel like you're in the middle of some type of knowledge of something interesting here with funds and whatever the setting is. Funds and money and grants and company funds and taxes and whatever it is that's going on. Stealing. I just feel like you're an observer. You know? But people don't really argue with. So at 7 of Wands, people don't really argue with you. I don't feel like anybody necessarily argues with you in whatever setting is. I don't feel like I feel like you have a good rapport with people here. And that could be why they look at you as a trusting being. You know, I mean, for some reason. But you observe, but you're trying to protect that from even changing in anybody. Is the feeling that I get. Because for example, if you outwardly tell someone that they're gonna look at you, they're gonna side eye you. If you outwardly tell someone that, you know, I saw this, that, and happened, they're the moon card in the spiritual self. Somebody's gonna be using their intuition that you've been knowing something, concealing something, just hiding something for a while. And then it could cost you if that's the case. But that's their thought. So when I said that's the King of Wands energy thought. That's the King of Wands. How long they're wondering how long you've been seeing something happen. That's their wonder. The resolution has the Three of Swords energies and the resolution going toward, but feel bad for her. So the Three of Swords and the resolution going towards the King of Swords, you feel bad for them. You feel bad for them. If nothing is necessarily a tactic on it, I felt that heavily. If nothing is necessarily a tactic on them, like heavy tactic on them necessarily, they themselves could have done something interesting. You know, I just feel like somebody just has like a tactic on them all the time. I'm touching them and I feel like they follow the rules. I feel like they follow the rules all the time, but I just feel like something about their rules or their things, that their instructions that they're being given, somebody just tampers with it. Somebody just messes with them for whatever reason. You know, you feel bad for them. You know, you're starting to feel bad for them. You know. You feel bad for the Aquarius. I don't know if Gemini and Libra elements and Libra males, but need to talk to Gemini and Libra males. You need to talk to also about King of Cups, about Aquarius, about King of Wands. King of Wands is a Leo, but whatever fire sign male you're dealing with, you know, this is a broad reading, so you could pick out a sign, whatever sign you need. But the signs here, you got Pisces here also. You could be dealing with Pisces, Scorpio male energies. They steal. Pisces, Scorpio males, they steal. Not the Cancer. I don't feel like a Cancer male steals necessarily. I just feel they're on looker too. I feel like they're on looker too if it's a Cancerian male. But you have Pisces and Scorpio energies that could be males here. These are major arcana, so it could be a Pisces. You could be dealing with Pisces signs, male, female, Scorpio, male, female. Observers. They're also observers, but I feel like the males steal. I feel like the males do something interesting there with tactics and stealing and using something they're not supposed to use and erasing. I also get a score. Erasing a score on somebody got a score or something. Somebody erased it, changed it, edited it, went to the computer and deleted some type of score that somebody got. I don't know. That's interesting. Could even be a score. Basketball score. I don't know. A score of some type. The Aquarian energy score, you know, the Aquarian energy score. Like there's somebody. It could be like a game or something that's happening here. It could be somebody's score. Somebody's score. Somebody money. Somebody the instruction, and somebody's trying to have somebody mess up something on purpose. A score could even be somebody's credit score. It's like the taxes and it could even be somebody's credit score. That is somebody's messing with that. Somehow somebody could go into the system, King of Wands or Cups, whatever, the King of Cups. Somebody could go in and change somebody's score, whatever. Somebody messing up I'll give you a perfect example. Somebody messing up somebody's credit score is what it's also what they could be buying with somebody's information also. And that could be something that the King of Cups energy does to the Aquarian, somebody's credit score, somebody's interest on their credit card, whatever. Like that could be a situation there also. All right. But I felt like a lot of it was like, it also, that's why I said funds. Funds don't only have to be company funds. Funds could be somebody's funds, like somebody's money, or score, like an actual score from a game, or like a score, like a what do you call it? A score, like a credit score. Wow. And you rely, and you know why somebody's score is messed up. Whatever it is, or instruction. Somebody's being given instruction precisely, but somebody else is going through someone else to get to that chain of command. Is going through someone, and they're editing it so that they would do something wrong on purpose. Whatever it is, It's interesting. Test. It can even be a test score, like a test score, a credit score, a game score. Somebody's tampering with that stuff, but they're doing it on purpose. I don't know if that's something karmic that's happening with the Aquarian energy also. So that could be something that they could have done something really interesting in the past to somebody. They could have done something really interesting to this person. Yes, that's happening, yes. But they could have done something really interesting to somebody else in the past. I don't know. There's some type of, they themselves, could, the King of Cups could have a vendetta on them for whatever reason. They could have done something to that person. The Aquarian could have done something to the King of Cups energy before. Whatever it is. All right, let's look for our outcome here, Taurus. Let's see. All right, so the Knight of Wands energy could be a Sag male. You could be dealing with Sag male there, and with whatever it is. I hate company. So when I say Sag, it's ringing me in my ear is company. So something's going on here also with a company, or some shadiness that's going on behind the scenes with a company. The Two of Pentacles energy is, or organization, whatever it is. The Two of Pentacles is in the outcome. All right, Pentacles is your sign, is your energy. We don't have any Earth sign energy here except for you. You just you. But the Two of Pentacles, finances. The Two of Pentacles is balancing your finances, just balancing. But that's what company does. Something that a company or a workplace does that. The balancing, trying to keep the finances balanced, money balanced. But I keep getting tamper. So somebody's trying to keep it balanced, but somebody's tampering with it or messing with it, doing something with the funds. King of Cups, King of Wands, Aquarius, Pisces, Scorpio. Male, female, whatever. And the swords and they're in the future, The Aquarian male in the future feel bad, and somebody may need to apologize to them. Libra, Gemini male, whatever. You're talking to them about Aquarius. What happens to the Aquarian? Somebody's money, or their instructions that somebody's being given. Somebody's messing with that. The Two of Pentacles energy is an outcome. Let me do another outcome here also. And the Sun, retrieve. So the Sun and the Two of Pentacles is said retrieve. So this is retrieving. That's why I said you're trying to save your success. You don't want anybody. You don't want Kim wants to speculate. You're knowing, whatever it is. But the Sun is also financial, retrieving money, financial, retrieving money. And somebody needs to from King of Cups. Somebody needs to retrieve money or get money from the King of Cups energy. Get it back from King of Cups. But why do they need to do something? So when I said that, why do they need to do something the way that they're doing it? Why do they need to do that? Whatever it is. Why does somebody need to do something the way they're doing it? Why do they need to do? That could be a question for the King of Cups or the King of Wands. Why they need to send something through this person? Whatever the question is. Why they need to do? Why is the Aquarian energy being asked to do? Why is the Aquarian energy being asked to do something specific? Whatever it is, whoever that question resides with, why do they need to do that? Why does somebody need to go into company? Why does somebody need to change an account? Why does somebody need to go into company funds to use it on themselves? Why does somebody need to do that? Whatever. That's interesting. All right, Taurus, let me know how it resonates with you. Be well. Take care. Bye.